Hello and welcome to another video. I know I should be editing another video instead of recording a new one, but just something came to my attention recently that I just could not pass off the chance of talking about it, and this is of course talking about another problem in the proprietary game development world. So the videos that YouTube just shoved in my face recently was this from the lawful masses about Blizzard owning you, and then David Stewart's preservation of games video, and also this Battler News video about how the Blizzard we loved is dying based on this new Blizzard release, which is this WarCraft 3 Reforged, which just have been released, and as you can see here on Metacritic, people are less than impressed by this. So what's going on is basically WarCraft 3 is a very old game. It is more than 15 years old. I think it's still less than 20. It was in the early 2000s when it came out, and so Blizzard promised us the stars from the sky how good this remastering of this game will be, and well, seems like people are not satisfied with the quality of this version of the game, and they are also very not happy because at the same time that this reforged version came out, people who owned the original Warcraft 3 have been not able to play on Battle.net. It's something like they have to download this reforged stuff for it, even if they don't buy it or something. I don't really understand what exactly is going on, but based on my experience with the StarCraft Remastered, I guess the game downloads all the art assets even if you don't buy the stuff. Like in the case of StarCraft Remastered, if you can play the original StarCraft for free, but even if you do that, the Battle.net client will download all the assets of the remastered game, which is, the high definition graphical elements and the remastered sound and stuff like that. And even if you don't buy the remastered package, the Blizzard client will download it to your computer. Anyways, that's not important. The important thing is that people are not satisfied and are very happy that, or very unhappy rather, that their lawfully purchased copy of Warcraft 3 is not functioning the way they expect it to function. And so, of course, people are what usually are blaming this state of affairs on is that this games as a service. So you don't buy a copy of a game anymore. You just pay for the company to provide you the game as a kind of a service. So it's like, like if they don't decide they don't want to provide the service anymore, there's nothing you can do about it. And so people are saying that, oh, you should be able to buy CDs or DVDs, and then you should be able to play these games, without the internet or with your friends on like a virtual private network or whatever other things. But this is, I don't think, the correct opinion, if I might say that. I'm saying it jokingly. Don't give me a downvote just because you disagree with me and your opinion is incorrect. No. So what I'm saying here is that this is just part of the problem. So the biggest problem is, of course, proprietary software in itself, and Lawful Masses video actually points out this very nice custom game acceptable use policy for the new Warcraft game, which has this. The first paragraph says, ownership, custom games are and shall remain the sole and exclusive property of Blizzard. So the thing is that they provide you some kind of word editor where you can make your own custom maps for the game, and even if it's, it's your creative work, which I think in general case, if you make some creative work that is your like you have the copyright for that automatically. Not in this case, because by using their proprietary software and agreeing to the end user license agreement, you agree to this bullshit here that whatever you create a custom game, custom map for this game, they have the copyright for that. So your creative work is their property. It's like someone selling you a typewriter and telling you that anything you type on that typewriter is going to be their novel, is going to be their poem, whatever. It is, I think, very antithetical to our modern understanding of how creative works should be protected. Of course, this has some very known kind of historical basis. So this Defense of the Ancients, the Dota, was a custom game made for the WarCraft 3, the original WarCraft 3, and people who made that, they basically created a totally new kind of game. This MOBA game was MOBA game style, which is very popular with the LOL, League of Legends now, that was created there. And so basically Blizzard wants to make very sure that if someone plays this game and it becomes very creative and makes a nice custom game, that Blizzard can monetize it for themselves. And of course this has all this weird other stuff. You just watch Lawful Mass's video on it. He's a lawyer, he explains it quite well. So what is actually going on here is that a software developer company decided to take a game that they produced 15 years ago, and they were thinking, maybe we can try to get some more money out of it with, you know, not having too much of a risk, and maybe even not even too much of work with it. And well, we want to not just extract money from fans of the game, but I think it is totally fair to ask money for providing value, but so you're not, for your money, well, you will be able to create custom games that will be owned by the company that you paid. So it's not like you are an employee and everything you make, your creative work in that employment belongs to the company. No, you paid to play a freaking game, and everything you do with this game to make for your entertainment, with like custom games, or make your friends for entertainment for your friends, they own it. You cannot spend days on it to make a custom game and then, I don't know, try to monetize it in some way. No, you cannot do that. They can do that if they want to. And so this is not really new from Blizzard Entertainment, or rather they are now Blizzard Activision or whatever, because, you know, same thing happened with StarCraft. So the StarCraft remastered has a much better reception than the WarCraft 3 remaster. Well, this is not really difficult to get a better reception than 0.5 user score. Even the critic score is well, not good. The StarCraft remastered got some 85% scores, and basically in that case, at least during the development stage, they actually developed with the best professional gamers in South Korea, well, who are actually the best professional gamers in the world. And so they tested the game, and well, that's why basically the StarCraft remastered is equivalent. So it's, at least it's not worse than the original game. So the gameplay stayed exactly the same, but if you pay for the remastered, you get the higher resolution graphics and some quality of life enhancements. But in that time also, what happened is that, so basically the StarCraft, Brood War have been very popular in South Korea. They played the professional tournaments long after the game passed its prime. So even in like after StarCraft 2 was announced and it came out, there were still program events playing up until 2012. There were still pro game events from the Brood War, because I think it was basically a licensing issue. So when the original StarCraft Brood War came out, the license was much more lax, I guess, so they could easily just use the game and play the professional tournaments with that and broadcast that on television, and Blizzard could not do nothing about it. But after they got so I think in 2012, when they dissolved the professional StarCraft and the transition to StarCraft 2, that was because they could reach a preferable agreement with Blizzard. But of course, there were always people who were not satisfied with StarCraft 2, and there were other tournaments that were people were still playing Brood War, especially on the Africa TV, which is a game streaming platform that is very popular in Korea. And well, of course, there was still also a lot of hassle about Blizzard and this Africa TV, who wanted to make the tournaments and broadcast the tournaments, because of course Blizzard thought that, well, we made this game in 1999 and it's 2015, and we would be very happy if we could just make money on this game without actually doing anything. Just want these the people who are organizing the tournaments and stuff to pay the royalties. And well, you know, business is business, I guess. So, and you know, intellectual property rights are intellectual property rights. So whatever we find moral or preferable does not really matter. What matters is what is the letter of the law and how the lawyers and the courts interpret it. So just talk to a lawyer about these questions if you are interested in that. But what is my point here is that this kind of attitude that we can see here from Blizzard while trying to monetize a game that is like at that time was more than 15 years old. But you know, to their credit, they spent some reasonable amount of time to make the remastered and to ask another $10 for the people who wanted to play that game, and then also the cartoon version, which, you know, even if you don't buy it, you have to download it from their stupid Battle.net application. Whatever, they put in work, and you can choose to enter into a contract with them. You don't buy the games, actually, you know, you license the games for you to play. And so also with this nice ownership clause from the custom game acceptable use policy, you can see what I mean when I say that in the case of using proprietary software, you do not own the software, you do not have any ownership. And this actually, it's totally independent of if you have the game on a physical medium like a CD or DVD disc, or you just download it through some download it online, and if they use some kind of DRM method or not. So legally speaking, it doesn't matter. In the case of this online stuff with the DRM, they can just much more easily enforce their license agreement than, you know, in a case of a CD or DVD. You can just unplug your computer from the internet and no one will ever find out what actually you did with that game, even though, you know, you breached the contract that you agreed to. This is why open source, or rather liberated software, free software matters, because in that case those programs are licensed under some free license like the GPL or BSD license or similar. In that case, the creator of the game gives you all the rights to do whatever you want with that, and that is your computer freedom or computing freedom. That is your software freedom being respected, because you know, sometimes some of your freedoms are not logged in the constitution or of your country. Like the computing freedom is just some freedom that is not, you know, not a unalienable right. It is dependent on the developer of the software if they give it to you or if they license their software to you in a way that doesn't give it to you. So it is your choice as a customer or a consumer rather, in that case, to choose the software product or choose the game that can respect you more, and you can decide to vote with your wallet, vote with your credit card, vote with your money, and incentivize the development of software, of games that respect that kind of privacy. And so this was my extremely long rant based on computer games, my second in a row. And thank you for listening to me. Give me a thumbs up if you like this kind of content. Argue with me in the comment section if you have any kind of opposing view. I am very excited to hear about that. And well, next time hopefully I will have not just this least effort video, but kind of a more worthy a better video coming up, and so stay tuned and subscribe to the channel if you are interested in not just these kind of rants but also Linux tutorials and other free software related content like software reviews and such. So I will see you next time. Bye bye.